They say good fences make good neighbors, but apparently Monica from the HOA never got that memo. Because in her mind, my driveway was community property and she acted like she owned it from day one. Yeah, Monica, the self-appointed queen of Maple Ridge Estates, decided she had the power to take over my driveway like she was annexing land in a war zone. What followed was hands down the craziest, most frustrating, most satisfying battle of my life, and I'm telling you now, if you think HOA stories are all boring letters and lawn disputes, buckle up. This one ends with a mic drop. So I'm Lucas Martin, 32, own a little coffee shop in town, live modestly, work hard. 3 months ago, I moved into what I thought was my dream home, a quiet place in a tree-lined neighborhood, friendly folks waving from porches, and a big old driveway perfect for my delivery van and roasting gear. That driveway wasn't just a perk, it was essential. I triple-checked the deed. It was mine. No easements, no shared access, no HOA claims. Clean. Or so I thought. 3 weeks after I moved in, Paradise peeled back its mask and revealed Monica Williams, president of the HOA, wears power like perfume, thick, choking, and impossible to ignore. First time I met her, she strutted into my driveway like she was walking a red carpet, arms folded, flanked by two clipboard-carrying minions, and said dead serious, "This driveway is community property now." I laughed. Thought she was joking. She wasn't. Turns out Monica was fired from the local school board for budget irregularities, and now she treats this HOA gig like a second chance at dictatorship. When I pushed back, showed her my deed, my survey, she smiled like I was a naive child and said, "You're new here. Let me explain how things work." Then she planted 3 strangers' cars in my driveway like it was a public parking lot and walked off like she'd done me a favor. At first I tried to play nice, knocked on doors, asked politely, got called selfish. One lady said maybe you should be more considerate of the community's needs. You know what I said? Nothing. Because my jaw was clenched so tight I probably would have cracked a molar. The next morning there was an official-looking no parking sign in my driveway, HOA letterhead and everything, except when I called the number on the sign surprise, it was Monica's voicemail. I ripped that thing out of the ground so hard I nearly dislocated my shoulder. That was the moment I knew this wasn't a misunderstanding, this was war. My neighbor Finnick, a 40-something mechanic with grease under his nails and wisdom in his eyes, came over and said, "Careful. Monica's got cameras. She'll spin this into a violation." He'd lived here 10 years, watched her crush anyone who pushed back. Said she once fined a guy for having a dented bumper. Tried to tow his work truck off his own property. "She's power hungry," he warned. "And she's been asking about your place since the day you moved in." 2 days later, I got a fine. $1,000 for community parking violations. I could barely hold the paper. My hands were shaking with rage. I knew what I had to do, hit her where it hurt. But first, I needed leverage. Monica ramped things up. Parked a moving truck across my driveway. Hired the company herself. Told them it was a legal HOA space. Then stood at her window sipping coffee like it was a show. She posted on the HOA page accusing me of stealing land. Neighbors I hadn't even met started whispering, avoiding eye contact. Delilah, her right-hand enforcer, stirred the pot online, called me greedy, selfish, anti-community. Suddenly, I was the villain in my own neighborhood. But I kept my cool. I installed cameras. And just 2 days later, they caught Monica red-handed dragging my trash bins into the middle of my driveway and snapping photos like she was building a fake case. I confronted her. She played innocent. "I would never touch your garbage," she gasped, like I'd insulted her bloodline. Delilah chimed in with, "This video's probably edited. You're harassing her." I knew I needed legal help, so I found Ralph Keegan, grizzled local attorney who'd wrangled HOA lawsuits for decades. He told me Monica had been in hot water before, but always wriggled out. "You've got the moral high ground," he said, "but legally it's going to be an uphill climb." Then came her masterstroke, a letter demanding $2,000 in fines and threatening to place a lien on my home. That's when I marched over to Monica's house and confronted her face to face. She met me at the door, grinning like a fox. "Oh, Lucas," she purred. "I was wondering when you'd come crawling back." She actually said that. But as she was slamming the door, I caught a glimpse of blueprints on her kitchen counter areas marked in yellow. That night, as I sat staring out my window at my embattled driveway, I noticed something on the community board, a for sale sign. HOA parking lot. Up for grabs. Turns out the management company had gone bankrupt, and the lot Monica and her cronies used every day was being liquidated. I called. It was $75,000. Every cent I'd saved for expanding my coffee business. But I knew this was my move. While Monica was buttering up board members and planning an eminent domain vote to seize my driveway, I was signing paperwork. 48 hours later, that parking lot was mine. Legally, fully, quietly. The next HOA meeting, Monica stood at the podium like she was announcing election results. Effective immediately, Lucas Martin has 48 hours to vacate his driveway. The crowd clapped. She smirked. Then I handed out letters to every board member. Legal notice of new parking fees, $50 per day. Permits required. Unauthorized vehicles subject to towing. I made one exception, Finnick parked free. The fallout was nuclear. Panic. Phone calls. Margaret, sweet old lady who'd voted against me, begged for a discount. I told her, should have considered your budget before trying to steal my property. Robert Chen tried to negotiate. I quoted him Monica's own words, non-negotiable. Monica. She called me screaming, said it was extortion. I reminded her, property rights are whatever the owner says they are. Right. Silence. She tried boycotts, rallied folks to park on the street. Within 3 days, the city ticketed them all. Her luxury SUV got hit twice. I watched her argue with a parking officer while clutching her HOA badge like it meant something. It didn't. Then she released a hit-piece video, heavily edited, accusing me of threatening neighbors. Slick editing, dramatic music, fake subtitles. For a second, people believed it. Even Finnick got weird about it. But then the twist. Finnick found out Delilah helped produce it and had been receiving kickbacks from Monica for years. Special favors, approvals, even under-the-table payments. We recorded Monica bragging about it, all her plans to take over other driveways, the community garden, even side yards. I invited the whole neighborhood to a special meeting. Played her full confession. Crystal clear, unedited. Monica's voice. We know the driveway's his, but if we vote as a block, he can't stop us. Dead. Silence. Then Delilah flipped, stood up, threw Monica under the bus, admitted the kickbacks, exposed everything, the fraud, the lies, the embezzlement. The crowd erupted. Monica tried to wave it away, claimed it was fake, screamed about context. Nobody cared. She was removed from office that night. Unanimous vote. Her face priceless. I transferred the parking lot to a community trust. Free for all residents except former board members who voted against me. They paid $50 per day, including Monica. And every morning I stood in my driveway with a cup of coffee, watching her march across the block, fuming, digging for change. Sometimes justice isn't loud. Sometimes it's a smirk and a slow sip of coffee. So what do you think? Was I right to fight back the way I did, or did I go too far? Let me know in the comments. Tell me what you'd have done if Monica came for your driveway.